You know, here's a request we've had since last May. A tremendous travel schedule made it impossible for us to catch up to the answer to this request. I hope it'll materialize here tonight. This is from Miss Susan Keene of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Writes a very cute letter. That's her picture. Dear Mr. Baker, my dad tells me that many years ago he used to watch Mr. Shipstad and Mr. Johnson, who owned the Ice Follies, perform between periods of the ice hockey games in St. Paul. He says they did a Bowery act which was very, very funny. I know they're both so busy, and maybe they haven't skated for years now, but do you think that they would do this act just once if I asked for it? Please? Sincerely, Susan Keene. Well, Miss Susan, we have high hopes now that this might be answered tonight. I didn't tell you right now that I'm standing in the dressing room of these two very famous owners of the very famous Ice Follies. And I want you to meet them right now. This is Eddie Shipstad himself.
Hello, Susan.
When I say himself, that is a little makeup he has there. And this is Oscar Johnson.
Hello, Susan.
Shipstad and Johnson. You heard this request,
Oh,
and
yes.
the pretty please on the end of it there. How about it, hmm?
Hard, it's been a long time.
Then we're a bit rusty.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
But, you asked for it.
Well, you know what that means then, Miss Susan? Yes, sir, they're going to do it. How long since you've done this Bowery act?
Well, let's see, the Bowery. When did we quit that number, Osk?
Well, Eddie, we did it off and on for many years, but I think it's 5 years now since we've done it last.
Gee, 5 years. Then they haven't danced, they haven't skated then for 5 years, 1946. This, I want to tell you very seriously, gentlemen, is a thrill and a privilege to have you back on ice again. I think that's your signal there on stage.
Oh, fine.
We'll join you. I'll take just about a minute. And, Miss Keene, Miss Susan, I think we're going to have a great thrill. I mean you, and I mean me, and many, many of the 30 million people who have enjoyed the Ice Follies for the last 15 years. Yes, sir, I tell you, it's great. Here they will now. They're skating again, especially for you. And they're doing their original act on ice, that famous Bowery number, because you asked for it.
What's the matter with you? Get me a taxi. Get me a wheelchair.
Oh.
Get me a stretcher.
Stretcher my eye. You are great. You're not collapsing, Oscar.
Almost, Art. You know,
It's
it's
not
been a long time.
It's not enough. I don't. We got to have a little buck up now. Come
Oh,
on.
do you think we can do it, Ed?
We'll try.
Good.
try.
Good. know you old-timers remember that. Yes, sir, the 5 years ago. Come in. I tell you, you are just as funny. You are just as smooth as you ever were. Don't let one kid you now.
Well, Art,
Thank you, Art.
before, we're a little out of shape.
Oh, I
You
don't
let
know.
the
I think your
skating
shape
be-
is beautiful.
A long time.
Younger people on the show.
Say, do you know that a lot of the youngsters have joined the Ice Follies in the last 5 years have never seen their bosses skate?
That's what they tell me.
There's intermission out there at the show right now, and I bet you that you're tuned in on it.
Well, I think a lot of them are watching, yes.
Look, for 1952, I just want to tell you that each year I say, well, it can't get any better. The costumes can't be any more beautiful, but by golly, they do get better. This year is a honey. An orchid to you for that, but how do you make it better all the time?
Well, it's just hard work, Art. Just a lot of time, a lot of hard work.
And so what are you puffing for?
Where am I puffing for?
Bring me a stretcher. Oh, I just know the thrill that this gave the people and bring back the memories. I have applauded till my hands were red at that act, that Bowery act that you had there. I would like to say to you, aside from giving you orchids for this year's Follies, that I hope that this 1952 is the best season you ever had.
Well,
Thank
many,
you very
many
much,
thanks to you,
Art.
Art.
Thank you
Pleasure.
indeed.
It was a real pleasure.
Fine.
And to get the Shipstad and the Johnson, the owners of the Follies, back on the show, I want to tell you, Miss Susan, it's awfully nice. When they get to Minneapolis, I bet you and your family will be on the front row, and probably they'll splash some ice right in your laps. We're mighty glad that you asked for it. I see time is up here, so give us your ideas, and when you do, here's the address. You asked for it, Box 323, Hollywood 28, California. And now on behalf of our sponsor, Skippy, America's largest selling peanut butter, I say so long and see you next week.